much, ma'am, for enlightening us today.
Yeah, thank you, Samira, for giving this opportunity. If you are having any questions, you can send to Manish Kaur, and then I will be clarifying offline.
Perfect. So dear attendees, as our mentor, our speaker has allowed all of us that we can share our questions with the team, and then those will be answered for sure. Now let's move ahead with the panel discussion, everybody. All right. Everybody, many form back form after the session is ended. Apologies. Okay. Now, dear attendees, all of our panelists are present with us. It's an immense pleasure to be introducing our panelists today. Now, first of all, I would very quickly do this because our panelists have been waiting and all of you have also been waiting. The topic of this panel discussion, which is always the highlight of our events, is going to be employment skill training versus entrepreneurial skill training. Now, that is a very, very interesting topic, and I'm glad to introduce our speakers today. Our panelists are going to be Dr. Pradeep N.E., the Associate Professor, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology from the beautiful city of Bangalore, Karnataka. Our next speaker is going to be Dr. Somnath. We've had the pleasure of having him earlier with us. He is the Associate Professor of SVER, the COE of and he's joining us from Maharashtra. Now, our third speaker and panelist is going to be Mr. Alif Banerjee, the Assistant Professor of Meghan Shah Institute Technology, West Bengal. I hope I have pronounced that correctly. Now, last but not the least,
it's Meghnad
our
Shah.
last panelist and our mentor is going to be Mr. M. Gunesakaran, the Assistant Professor from Somali College of Engineering, Tamil Nadu. We welcome all of you with all of our hearts, with our open hearts, and thank you so much for being with us today. Let's start with Dr. Somnath. Sir, how would you begin this topic of entrepreneurial skill training versus employment skill training? How would you begin this topic for starters? Okay, perfect. Now let's jump in with Dr. Pradeep. Sir, you seem like you have a lot in mind. What would you like to add further?
Well, I would like to thank the members who have been here for a little long time. I know because they were looking at their watch for some time. But please take a few minutes because I'm sure you all will enjoy the panel session. Now, let me take it from what Dr. Somnath sir just mentioned. Yes, entrepreneurship is important, but now we should always understand. Now, will only the entrepreneurship be the way forward? No, not really, because you need to also have employees. So employment and entrepreneurship would go hand in hand. But now when we are trying to develop these two groups, one is employees and another entrepreneurs. But if I have, say, 1,000 students, now not all 1,000 would become entrepreneurs. We will have to identify. We have to maybe start with the very initial stage, the early age of their education, and help them understand what it's all about. Now, if I just have to take a quick example, take say two people go to a farm and they would like to buy some bananas from the farmer. Now, one person he bought 2 bananas at say 5 rupees each, and he goes and sells it at maybe a little under 2 rupees more. Wow, he's very happy. He said, I've made some 4 rupees profit. But now the other person would not sell the banana as it is. He will try to convert that into much more valuable product. He may convert into a juice and he may sell it at 20 rupees per cup. That means he made a huge profit. So this is what the mindset difference between two groups, the employees and entrepreneurs. Then training would definitely be very different, because I would believe in one concept, like the employees can be trained, but entrepreneurs should be through experiential learning. That is what I would like to add up.
Couldn't agree more, sir. Actually, we have been having these sessions continuously, and one of our attendees actually one day questioned the same thing that you just talked about. How do we recognize, how do we differentiate from an employer, between an employer and an employee? So let's move ahead. Let's go in the circle with Mr. Alif Banerjee. So what would you add further, with due respect?
Thank you, and welcome all the panelists. Dr. Pradeep and Dr. Somnath has added their views. To me, what I have experienced over the years, being part of the entrepreneurship education for so many years now, I have recognized one of the things is that it's all about entrepreneurial mindset. It's basically not only that there are two categories that one category is employees and other category is entrepreneurs. I feel that entrepreneurial mindset should be developed in an education institute right from the beginning. So let's say from the second semester onwards of an engineering college, if they start developing, and then through the experiential learning, what Dr. Pradeep talked about, they identify the path that they want to become an employee or they want to become an entrepreneur. So that is the path they discover themselves. It's not that we want to make there are only 1% successful startups in the country. We can make it to 10%. Yes, we can provide the the ecosystem, we can provide the training system, we can encourage students, but end of the day, one thing we have to understand, it's the students who needs to discover which path they need to go. But on the other hand, while a person goes through an entrepreneurial training or the skill set that they develop, it will be definitely be helpful when they go for a job, right? There are numerous examples where a person who is also an employee, but but he works like an entrepreneur within an organization. So we are looking for people not only becoming an entrepreneur where they will definitely provide jobs, but should have that entrepreneurial mindset as an employee, so that maybe after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, he may take a different path altogether, gain that market knowledge, and become an entrepreneur. So we are not only trying to look at students becoming an entrepreneur directly after the education, but also working professionals who are already there in the market, having those experiences from the market, from the industry itself, can go on to become an entrepreneur or work in a company in a mindset that they become something called an entrepreneur. So that is something that I feel that skill development or entrepreneurial skill development is essential for everybody. It's not only an employee, but it's also for a person who wants to become an entrepreneur. I think that's what I would like to say.
Amazing. Let's just move with Mr. Gunesakaran. Let's see what he has to add on this particular topic.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Samira. Actually, first I like to express my gratitude to share the panel with other panelists, Pradeep sir, Alif Banerjee sir, and then Somnath sir. In my view, actually, so the employability skills and entrepreneurship skills, it may be in some cases they are equal, or they have a common skills. It will be there, but some skills may be more prioritized for entrepreneurship. So it may be a leadership skill and the ability to take